We are very happy to host this big event here in Madrid, this historic moment, this first World Opera Forum. I'm delighted to welcome the three big associations, Opera Europa, Opera America and Opera Latin America, and for all the other theaters from Asia and Africa.
You know, the entire industry is here, and it's really a fantastic opportunity.
Finding common ground or maybe disagreements, which are very useful always.
I'm thrilled with the diversity of people gathered here, different musical, theatrical, professional backgrounds.
When I saw the list, I was really impressed. I understood how Euro-centered I am.
It's the first time that we gather people from all over the world to discuss what opera is, what it could be, what it should be.
One word to describe the World Opera Forum: wow. The amount of people that have come to talk about our forum, to be vulnerable, to be provocative, to listen.
I look at this forum as an opportunity to talk about some of our challenges, but also to look at the opportunities that are in front of us with this great art form. The World Opera Forum seems to me to be almost overdue. This has been a global art form for centuries. The repertoires from different countries, the singers singing the roles are from different countries. Every production at an opera house has people from around the world. So the fact that we are just for the first time getting together as a group of producers and artists to talk about the most pressing issues globally, again, as I say, it seems almost overdue.
It's not about Baroque music or romantic music or anything. It's about showing why we love it and how this is affecting people's life. This is basically it. If people don't connect to it emotionally and connect to the way we love it so much and have all the passion about it, if people don't understand, if we can't make them understand, we shouldn't do it anymore.
Opera is an old art form, it's hundreds of years old, but that cannot stop us from evolving into the future. We have to evolve, we cannot be completely imprisoned by tradition. We have to look forward and do something that is meaningful and that breaks with traditions.
That's how I feel about the heritage. It's rich, we don't need to get rid of it, but we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. To the same standard that film is at, that dance is at. We can't pretend that opera is still playing by the rules of 50 years ago. It shouldn't stay that the academics continue to drive what good composition is in Europe and North America, because we know that the public is disconnected from that. And opera is a public form, so I love that right now we're getting to unearth kind of the heart of what we care about in opera, not what we care about in opera houses.
In my opinion, the biggest challenge is, what do we want opera to be? Do we want an opera as a museum art form, completely retrospective, or do we want opera as a living art form that would give sense to our world? For me, the answer is very clear.
As a stage director, the cultural heritage is like a big playground. Theater is actually playing. It's not like a philosophy. It's something you should be immediately touched by it. Also without too much reading and too much preparation. So I think it's not a weight, but it's like a big garden where you can collect and reinvent and mix various things.
I think it's a great role because we really can create the world we want to have. So we can really create the opera of tomorrow. We can really be on the pulse of our time and on the needs of the people of our time.
It's exhilarating writing music and working with the others. I don't have any requirements. As long as it's done with skill and talent, I'll be happy wherever it is.
The way the discussion has been going is to say that if opera is to survive, it has to embrace new technologies, it has to embrace the cultural traditions of other types of music. The majority of the people here believe in that vision, and if we don't go there, then I don't think it's going to continue.
Perhaps we should not hesitate sometimes to touch the storytelling, to change it, to adapt it to the new social challenges or the perceptions people have. And I think that's an interesting way of making our heritage a resource for the future, not only a legacy from our past.
It doesn't have to be intellectual. I think it's something that actually can sweep you off your feet through the emotional experience that you get through opera.
I feel that we right now are in the new era of new works. There is a renaissance of composing and writing that I think is relatively unprecedented for our century. There are many new stories and new voices being told, and I am personally very excited to see stories that we've never seen before from voices in communities that have never been represented on an opera stage. I think that in representation, we will solve a lot of our problems and meet our new audiences of the future.
Diversity for me is not reaching out to bring people in from different backgrounds and different experiences. It's about me walking to them. As the white Canadian American, I don't really get a vote. What I need to do is create channels, open channels to these communities. I really can't talk about it more than that.
So many of us, even people of colour, myself, enjoying an international career, just doesn't see any other version because we're so used to the status quo. And now I can't accept it anymore. We've gone from 0 to 100 miles an hour in a very short space of time. Challenging the status quo, changing perceptions. Less than 2 years, we were given a BBC prom at the Royal Albert Hall. They decided to televise it. And then what happened was it has become the most viewed prom in history.
Few countries have gone through the type of very, very rapid transformation on stage which has been seen in South Africa. 30 years ago, it was an all-white company funded by the apartheid government. Cut forward to 15 years after that, and you're looking at 85% black performers on the stage. And the company has become famous in the years since for its astonishing chorus, and of course for all of the great voices who are coming out of South Africa nowadays.
The joy about an increasingly complex world is that we have much more varied experience, humanity to put into our work and to speak to, so that it should be affecting the way we think about and deliver everything we do. Every aspect of how we do opera should be changed by our increasingly diverse society. We shouldn't be trying to get an increasingly diverse society to like what we're already doing. It's such a small way to think.
We do long for real communication. People would do anything. They're craving for real emotions and for real feelings. I do think that the arts, if we do it right from the beginning on, that they can play a very, very important role on an emotional level as well.
I always think of being an advocate for the audience, and that what we do is to serve our audiences and to engage with the communities. For me, it's actually that experience where you are in a shared communal space with an audience, taking in a story that resonates with you viscerally and provides you with the type of experience that you can't get through any other art form.
Thanks to technology, so many more people than before are having the opportunity to discover opera, backstage information, interview with artists, to read more about the performance you're about to see.
And I hope that we will find the ways to take advantage of these opportunities and to move the art form forward, to let it leap to where it really deserves to be and where it can be.
We need to think about it from a place of what is the conversation that will make this city a better place for every citizen.
I think we need to recognise that opera isn't an isolated art form, that we need to engage with the politics of where we're making it. Specifically for me, that includes how we make the argument about education and not being afraid to do so.
I think it is very interesting for us to bring more producers, to bring more venues to this business, to open the industry. I think this is a big mission here.
What I'd like to think is that we're taking the first step to make the global art form subject to global examination and global discussion. I hope an outcome of this forum is that we have another one and we continue the momentum of this wonderful conversation.
By having all these people in the same room, they will eventually come to the conclusion of the hard work they've got to put into all of this in the opera administration. But they will get the result because they are determined to do so. They're not going to leave the site and say, I throw my hands in the air and I'm not going to do this. I can see that they will go back with a concerted energy to go and start working on their audiences and the community and the young people.
To allow everyone to feel like they're responsible for the storytelling.
Conversation, dialogue, and being together.
I'm as guilty as everybody else of coming here in order to say what I think.
Just that it happened has changed the picture already.
The only constant factor in life is change.
You'll just have to work harder.
That everybody can feel this emotion, that's my experience.
Listen to the music, feel the music.
I don't know the English word is... No? Okay.